one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of the absolutely incredible support by my Optibotimus Plus channel members, especially the ones that you see on the screen right now, we're going to be taking a look at the new Amazon exclusive Transformers Legacy Evolution Leader Class Nova Prime. One of the first Transformers to be created by the original 13 Primes, Nova, as he was known then, or Nova Major, lasted all the way to the day when the original 13 Primes mysteriously disappeared, and he took it upon himself to kind of rein in the chaos. Taking hold of the matrix of leadership, Nova Major eventually became Nova Prime, but he was kind of a different Prime. He viewed Transformers as being superior beings, and feeling that they should rule over everything underneath them, which is vastly different than a Prime later in history by the name of Optimus. This guy was always really fascinating to me, mostly because I really love that time frame when the original 13 were around, and this guy is going to go perfectly with my display of those figures that I have. For the package, a little bit different than what we got before. It is the plastic-free packaging, as you can kind of see with this little kind of blurb right there, but a lot of really cool elements to it. When you look at the side here, you got a lot of characters that are in the Transformers Legacy Evolution line. Come around to the side, though, here, and you can see what kind of looks like a lot of other characters all around, which is neat. You got some kind of hanging out up there, some there where it kind of looks like different seats, as if he's, you know, part of the Senate or something right there. That is really cool. Of course, you got the gorgeous image of him. Come around to the back of the package, and you can see that he transforms in a few different steps. You got the regular Nova Major figure, which can transform in 13 steps, and then you can transform him into Nova Prime right there, and then his kind of space truck mode. But what's interesting is the packaging actually opens like that, and this is really kind of obnoxious. On the inside here was the kind of thing that he was attached to, and it was ridiculously padded by a lot of tissue paper. It kind of annoying, honestly. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have the new Amazon exclusive Legacy Evolution Leader Class Nova Prime opened up out of his packaging, and obviously in his vehicle mode. Now, for the most part, this is a repaint and retool of the recently released Galaxy upgrade, I think it was called, Optimus Prime. I had zero interest in that figure. But as I mentioned, I really do enjoy the whole original 13 and a Unicron, Primus, early days of Transformers sort of mythos. And this guy was always one that I thought was really very cool. He never really got a full-on figure, though. We did get a couple, like, Transformers Collector Club exclusive ones where they were, like, repaints of some other figures, but nothing really mass release. And this guy actually is pretty decent. It's not to say that I don't have issues with him, because I definitely do. But it is cool to kind of have one that's not a third-party one, despite the fact that the overall opinion of this figure is that it basically feels like an official figure with a lot of third-party add-ons. Now, as this was originally based off of the Transformers Siege Ultra Magnus figure, there's a lot that you're going to see that's very similar, and a lot of parts forming, which is where I really get that third-party click-on sort of thing in terms of a feeling from. That original Siege Ultra Magnus had it, and this guy does as well. And honestly, vehicle mode-wise, I don't really care that much about it. Number one, I hate this. The angled feet thing is, like, gross. I hate that. But also, he's very gappy. I mean, there's a lot on here. Now, you can kind of hide some of it by putting these weapons on them. So if you take these off, you get a little bit more of this gappiness, and you can, like, let's say, take this one off here, and you got a little peg hole right here where you could take this, and you can put that, and that kind of covers up some of that. I'm not a big fan of it, honestly. I like leaving these attached because it feels less parts former-ish, and these are part of his legs, obviously, so I just leave them on there. and then just rotate those kind of forward. So kind of hides some of it. You also have these big giant guns here, which again I feel like this is that Galaxy Optimus Prime thing. I don't think he had the wings, but he did have these guns, and I don't know how I feel about these. You can like articulate them. I don't like how they're asymmetrical, and by that I mean like this removes and becomes just the regular handgun. And when you take that off, like I said, you got this asymmetrical look, which drives me absolutely bonkers. And realistically looks even worse in robot mode, I think. And then when you have it like this, it just falls all the way down. So you kind of have to leave this on there to kind of sit across the top. Which again, you know, he's like this big armored truck, which I get, and you know, it definitely has that look to it. It just, like I said, it's very, very weird. I don't know. You have a lot of this weird kind of emptiness with the side that doesn't really look all that good. You got a lot of gapping here, down here. It just, I'm not the biggest fan of it. All of the weapons are blast effect compatible, so you can take these and plug that in there, which is cool. I like that. Even when you take... Oh, no, that's that. Even when you take these guns and take that blast effect, you can plug that in there as well. So if you have a lot of extra blast effects, you can do something crazy with that if you want to. But like I said, I'm just not the biggest fan of the overall look on it. And then when you look at the top, that just is ugly. I'm sorry. It just really is. Color-wise looks good. The white looks nice. You got a lot of this gray kind of going throughout, which really does help kind of break things up. I like the little gold accents. Those are all really nice. The other thing that I'm not a big fan of is these little jagged edges here. Literally, it's like when you're moving him, hear the scraping? I mean, it's like those are scraping on there. There's no way to kind of, unlike, without kind of like, I don't know, like pushing this down, like, and like there's very little clearance. I mean, it works, but very little clearance here, and then this, again, very little clearance. So it just, I'm just not a fan of the vehicle mode, and that's really unfortunate because the robot mode is actually really cool. I really do like it. I don't like the transformation on it because, again, very parts formery. So to transform them, I'm just going to kind of get these lifted up and out of the way. These little bits right here clip on here. Not the biggest fan of those. Those are really tight clips. And you kind of wedge your finger in there, and more than likely you're just going to pull this from underneath there, which is kind of annoying. But you just kind of... You're literally just... And then this whole thing, yeah, this whole thing just separated. So there we go. All right. So once you have that, then you can take this and you can detach this section from the spine, pull this away. We'll set that off to the side for right now. Now, taking a look at Nova Major or just Nova, again, if you have Ultra Magnus, you basically know what you have. This is at, and it doesn't look all that good either. Transformation for him, you're just going to split those legs, kind of pull this away because there's a tab in here. You don't want to just pull it down, so kind of pull that away. Then you can bring that down. And from my understanding, they actually did really improve the hip joints here with the ratchets, and you can definitely hear it. And I have not played with that Siege Ultra Magnus in a while, so I don't really remember. But all of them kind of have it, and it's always a little annoying. So kind of pull that out. You can angle these little feet. VL2. Come around here to the back section. Now this part here, again, parts forming, this is going to come off, but you don't need to take it off for the Nova Major look on them. So bring these down. I'm going to rotate those. Bring this out. Rotate that around, and then this whole section is going to spin around. Then you want to take this bit here. This is going to slide up. It'll lock into place. And then this whole section here, before you tab all that in, kind of pull this like that. Rotate out his head. Bring that down. And then collapse that in right there. This will tab down, and here you have Nova Major before he becomes Nova Prime. And I mean, again, you can take this gun off. I think that this works a little bit better as being a weapon for him to hold on to, because it's a little bit more size appropriate. But again, one of the biggest improvements with this figure, from what I've understood, were the hips. Those are really solid ratchet joints, and it creates a good standing pose. I know before, like, it was kind of off-centered there, but now it's centered very nicely so that he does get a nice up and down, if I don't hit him, up and down kind of pose, which works pretty good. Overall, the look on the figure is really solid. Again, very much looks like that Galaxy Optimus Prime, with like the new chest and everything, a little bit different than the Ultra Magnus that we got before, but still solid. And I mean, he's got this weird backpack thing. Like I said, you can remove this if you want to. You're going to need to for the transformation. So once you do that, it just kind of leaves this big giant nub there. So I kind of like leaving those on there in this particular sort of configuration, because it kind of helps to bulk that up. But he does have a very large backpack there. So setting him there, getting all this stuff out of the way, you're going to just take this, fold these out. So again, very parts formery, and this is the part where, like I said, just feels like it's a third party sort of thing, which is annoying, but you know, it is what it is. This part right here, easiest way that I found to kind of do this is kind of take this and kind of pull this away. It attaches in a couple different spots, so it is, there we go. I'm not the biggest fan of that. So once you pull that, then you can like hinge this down and then separate this. It makes it a little bit easier going into the actual vehicle mode when you kind of just attach these and then hinge those up and lock those into place. Split these legs. Now these are the shoulder pads that I don't know what they were really thinking about this. There is no tabbing for this, and I don't even know if I realistically have these in the right spot. I'll be totally honest with you, because they don't. It's so weird how these actually are, but it's like that. It just kind of feels like it frictions in there, but I don't know how, because there's like no tabs here. But you literally need to, if you ever need help, this is how you need to have these positioned in his legs. And the part that's kind of annoying is, it would have been nice if, like, here's his left leg, here's his right leg. This is going to become the opposite shoulder section. So that's another way that you can remember, but it would have made it a little bit easier to kind of remember by putting, you know, the left leg be the left shoulder, right leg, right shoulder. But they didn't, so they reversed it. It is what it is. So putting that there, just like that. Now with him, you're going to take these, tuck these in, and then bring these around, and these will sit inside. Again, this real, I mean, if you're an old enough Transformer fan that you remember City Commander from Fans Project, that's the vibe that I get with this. Very much like that. When you have it like this, then you're going to want to take this section, rotate this around, and that's going to go there. And then this, I want to say, yeah, you have to pull this away. So let's, hold on. And everything is like, just feels like you're forcing a lot of stuff. So here, let's get that out of the way. You gotta put his head back down. Put that there. There we go. Just like that. Keep that all the way forward. I think I have that all the way forward, and then take this. You're gonna slide that all the way down, just like so, and then bring these back and around. There we are. So, still going, oh, well, I guess we could kind of do this. And take these, you got little slots and holes here that you line up with that. Put that right there. And you have these little blast things here, which also are blast compatible, which is kind of cool to see. but they got this little hole section here, so you can take those and put there. So he's got like these little blast things. Here, so do I have a small one? Here we go. Take one of these little small guys. Do that. I mean, that's kind of cool that you can do that. So there's that. Get him standing. Now this is a giant mess. So we're going to take this, get this kind of out of the way, come around here. This whole spine thing plugs in, so you want to detach that and then fold this out and fold that out. And then this is all going to collapse down and around like that, and then take these, tuck those there. These are going to get out of the way, and these are going to rotate up just like that, and just sit on the back, and then just kind of spread the wings out. Then take this, you got this middle section which is going to grab hold of the armature. Oh, actually I don't want to, make sure you push that back, sorry. So then come around here, take that, and you're going to attach that to the spine. Give that a good solid push, and then bring this down and around, and then this will tab in. Rotate the head around, and there you have a very cool and very accurate to Transformers Devastation representation of the one and only Nova Prime. And while the vehicle mode I definitely have issues with, the robot mode, though, comes together much, much nicer. But even still, that's not to say that I don't have issues with them. Overall, the presence is really cool. These big giant wings give a very powerful look to them. It's almost like Predaking. Those wings just add something. And that's definitely the case here with Nova Prime. And while in robot mode I was talking about a lot of gapping, it's minimized here, but it's still there. Primarily in what you really couldn't see in the vehicle mode, but you don't totally see him here in robot mode, is just how hollow these giant cannons are. Now, number one, I don't like these giant cannons on them at all. Like, if you just take that and kind of fold that back, that looks so much nicer, right? And I know I've seen some people that have modified it. I don't know how they do it other than, like, popping some pins out of this thing, because that's how it's attached on there. So I don't really know how you do that. But I also don't, again, like the asymmetry of it. This one being longer, this one being shorter, just looks weird. Now, again, you could take this and put this on there like it was in vehicle mode. But again, now that one's longer than the other one. So either way, you're completely in the one is longer than the other sort of thing. But remember, the hollowness of this is really unfortunate. And there really doesn't need to be a hollowness to it other than it's cheaper to do that. I mean, and like with the holes here, they're I mean, I get why this is here. Doesn't need to be here. So that's kind of lame, if you ask me. There's no need for that kind of stuff. And then even when you look at the back, this looks very gappy, and you can really see the kind of waffling of the back of the wings, which you see a lot of in the vehicle mode. Front looks amazing, though. I really like that. But these guns just not very good. Now, the purpose of these is you can actually rotate these around, and he can hold them, which is cool. And I like how that this actually slides so that you can get him in different sort of positions. So you got to peg that down there. And then this one swivels around as well. And then you can bring that forward, get him to hold that. Something like that. And got this really cool blast sort of thing. And again, you can take the blast effects, you can plug there, and plug there, and have him blasting things, although that looks kind of weird because it's like it's missing the actual thing here. Get in there. There we go. So, I mean, you can do all sorts of stuff like that, which I think is cool. I like it. But again, I don't know. I mean, he just looks so much better with just the wings and not the giant cannons being back there. I mean, I guess it works for the character because he was, oh shit, he was basically like a one-man army, and really was extremely powerful and very much in terms of battling different creatures and such like that was always kind of like a one-man show. But I'm not the biggest fan of how that turned out. Overall, the detail, though, looks fantastic. I love the white. I love the gold. The gunmetal gray looks all really very nice. I like the little touches of gold on his hands as well. You had the hollowness of his legs, but you kind of fill it in by putting the smaller bot in there. It's kind of weird that he also has this perpetual spread leg sort of thing because they built in ankle tilt. So it literally makes no sense why it has to always be like that, especially in the vehicle mode. With it always kind of bent like that, it looks dumb. Don't know why they did that. Now, I have seen a lot of people talk about how they've improved the hip joints here, and they definitely did. There's some good, solid ratchet joints inside there, which gives you a really cool, clicky sound, but also makes him very stable on his feet, which is nice. But what's weird, though, you got a little bit of a lean going on, so you can kind of angle that. Kind of get that straight, although that doesn't really look all that straight. So when you get him standing there, he's got really big heels. I didn't bring him out as part of the transformation. You also have other heels here that you can fold out. Just, being completely complete with the instruction. You don't need those, and it just makes it look weird. Again, that's something that's carried over from that upgrade Optimus, but I think these heels are perfectly fine for him. But you do have to still kind of get a happy space there with the ratchet joints. Now, doing some comparisons, I talked about how I want to add this guy to my original 13 sort of display. I have Primus in there as well. But here is my BotCon exclusive Alpha Trion. Again, you can kind of see a progression of figures and such. Here is Vector Prime, so bringing that guy in. Shout out to my longtime friend, The Decided, who has been a subscriber of mine since the very beginning, who actually sent me that. Still have it, still love it. And then a couple other ones that I kind of sort of use. This is the Protoform Optimus Prime that I use as Prima, because it kind of sort of looks like it. And this, I don't even remember what this is. This is a third-party figure, but kind of reminds me of Solus Prime. Doesn't really look all that great, but this is my original 13 sort of display, even though I only have 4 of them kind of covered. But I think that this is going to look great together. One thing that I might actually do is because a sword, which this is a third-party sword. I have all 3 versions. This one with the red jewel might go really good with him. It's also kind of a goldish color, so I might do a little switcheroo. Let's see. This is, like I said, this is that sword, but it's very much like, if it'll focus on it, kind of like the Matrix thing. Well, maybe. No, well, you get the idea. But let's see. Let's see how this looks. No, it's definitely, the handle's a little bit too big, but I would imagine that is going to be the case on the other hand too. So, oh no, I can kind of fit that. Oh, that looks cool. I dig that. That works very nicely for him. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Overall, though, if you're familiar with that Ultra Magnus figure, that upgrade Optimus Prime one, you know what to expect with it. The articulation is all the same. It has been improved a little bit in terms of the ratchet joints. But gorgeous detail, like I was talking about, coming in to take a closer look. That is a really cool head sculpt, a brand new one, which looks good. Chest all looks really nice. The shoulder bits here are different, but gorgeous detail. I love that gold accent throughout the entire thing, like I said. And then, of course, you can come down here. These are the guns that just plug in on the side. So, again, he can hold these if he wants to, but I just kind of like leaving those right there. Overall, I'm happy with the figure. I do think that he could have been done a little bit better, but I'm not overly disappointed in him. I think that utilizing that Magnus mold and then even going further with that upgrade Optimus, I think they did a pretty good thing here. He looks the part, definitely looks how he did in the Transformers Devastation game, which unfortunately we never got any more of him. Because, was it Activision? I forgot. But the company that made that lost the license to it, so there was no, sequels or anything. Even though that we got that little end credit scene that kind of teased more about him. The character has always been really cool for me, and I'm happy that we are finally getting an official mass release version of him. That being said, he is still an Amazon exclusive, at least right now. Do I think he's worth the leader price point of $50? No, I don't. But the nice thing is I got mine in a discounted. I think it was only like $38. I don't know if that deal is still going on, but I'll put a link to Amazon right down there. If you'd like to add this guy to your collection, you can click on that and check out availability on him, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. As always, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The more people that do that, get my videos seen by more people, and really help with that whole YouTube algorithm thing. If you could do a little bit more, consider becoming an Optibotimus Plus channel member, where your support can help to make more reviews like this possible. And finally, guys, please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. And until next time, this is Optibotimus saying adios, au revoir, and Auf Wiedersehen.